What's happening, boxing fans? It is Dr. Bring It. Well, here's the ultimate question. Let's get right into it. Who do you think Manny Pacquiao should be fighting next? Bud Crawford? Errol Spence Jr.? Rematch against Keith Thurman? Should we think of a fight maybe between him and Shawn Porter? Banging with Shawn Porter? Who else is out there? Well, all those guys are dangerous fighters, including Keith Thurman. I know that he beat Keith Thurman in there, but it was tighter than I wanted. I had predicted that he was going to outbox Keith Thurman. I didn't think that he could knock out Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman, he's got a jaw of iron, jaw of steel, and I didn't think it was going to be a knockout whatsoever. But at the very end, all the way to the very end, I was on the edge of my seat because I knew that Keith Thurman was walking down Manny Pacquiao. What do you think? Who do you think he should actually fight next? To be quite honest with you, I've had some conversations with some people about the matchup for Manny Pacquiao, either it be Bud Crawford or if it be or Errol Spence Jr. Honestly, if I were to choose the safer person, now I know that you guys would probably be going crazy of this thought, but I would much rather see Manny Pacquiao try to go against Errol Spence Jr. over Bud Crawford. I know you're probably thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? But I'll tell you why. The reason why is because Errol Spence Jr., he's less mobile, his feet. He doesn't move around the ring as much as Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford is a lot more dynamic in terms of footwork, and he likes to use the ring a lot more, where Spence likes to be right there, right in front. Now again, he's a southpaw, but Bud Crawford also likes to start southpaw, and you would better believe that if Bud Crawford actually does fight against Manny Pacquiao, which I kind of doubt that's going to ever happen, even against Spence, I don't see that happening, but Bud Crawford would definitely start in a southpaw stance just to see how he would do against one of the greatest southpaw fighters in the history of the sport. But I honestly think the safer bet, now I know that you guys are cringing every single time I say this, the safer bet I think would be against Spence, because I think Manny Pacquiao would be able to use his footwork to stay away from Errol Spence Jr.'s power. Now here's the thing, a recent article that I had read about Manny Pacquiao, and he was commenting about some of the hardest fights that he's ever fought. He said that the fight against Margarito was one of the toughest fights that he's had because it was one of the most painful fights that he's ever had to endure. Just because he said he hit him, Margarito hit him with a body shot towards like the end rounds, and he said he buckled him and he really felt the pain of that body shot. Given that, Does Errol Spence Jr. have as much power as Margarito? I would probably say yes on that one. He does. And that is really the only thing that really worries me against Spence, because he has the power. And he has the power to be able to buckle Manny Pacquiao, especially if he goes to the body. Does he have the speed and the reaction time to connect with Manny Pacquiao? Absolutely he does. He is a very fast fighter. Is he as fast as Manny Pacquiao? I don't think so. Manny Pacquiao is just naturally a smaller fighter. I think he can outspeed Errol Spence Jr., but he has to fight a perfect fight, if there's any such thing as a perfect fight. Well, the fight that Manny Pacquiao had against De La Hoya, I would say, was nearly perfect. But is he going to handle Spence in that way? I don't think so. Not at this point. If this fight ever happens, when is it going to happen? He's already going to be 41, 42 years old. He's significantly older than Spence and Crawford. So against these guys, he has to show a lot of his footwork in order to win, in order to stay away from the dangers of these fighters. And at this point in his career, hey, in his heyday, yeah, sure, he could zip around for 15 rounds, okay? But at 42, does he have the stamina to be able to really be effective? And we saw a glimpse of this against Keith Thurman. Now, I wasn't so concerned about Keith Thurman, because I felt that age really didn't matter against him. Keith Thurman, he's not really that mobile, relatively flat-footed. I think he was pretty much like a sitting duck against Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao has a lot of the really good, counter-punching and combinations. That's why I felt pretty confident that Manny Pacquiao was going to be able to outscore Keith Thurman. And similarly, I think overall, if Manny Pacquiao, and I think he has the experience, okay? He has the experience to keep away from Errol Spence Jr.'s power. I think he'll be able to formulate, him and his camp will be able to formulate a game plan to stay away from the really big shots of Errol Spence Jr. But one thing that I noticed about Errol Spence Jr. is that when he covers up, see, when he's under the attack, he likes to cover up. He doesn't just like move out of the way. He doesn't back up and move out of the way, because he doesn't mind a dogfight. He'll sit there and just cover up and then counter afterwards. That strategy reminds me of what happened with Joshua Clottey against Manny Pacquiao. Do you guys remember that fight? Joshua Clottey went into a shell because Manny Pacquiao kept punishing his body, and Joshua Clottey did not move back. A lot of times he found himself on the ropes just trying to cover up and endure, but Manny Pacquiao kept on throwing like 3 to 5 punch combinations and didn't even give him a chance. Manny Pacquiao's his punch output was like 1,000 that night. But here's the thing, is he going to be able to throw that much against Spence to negate Spence's arsenal, to negate Spence's offense? Can he, at this point, at 41, 42 years old, will he have that stamina? That's going to be the real question. And not only that, but not only is Manny Pacquiao going to have the stamina to be able to do that, but is he going to be present mentally to be able to do that? Maybe. maybe, but I hope you guys really know that Manny Pacquiao against Spence, that it's going to go into Spence's favor. The Vegas odds are going to put Spence as not as the underdog, but the one favored to win. I hope you guys realize this, that Manny Pacquiao is not going to be the one favored to win in this fight, right? Even against Bud Crawford, I think the thing is that really worries me about Bud Crawford is that he's very mobile. He'll be able to stay on the outside against Manny Pacquiao because Bud Crawford, he moves his feet too. The fight against Mayweather, Mayweather, I think he wasn't as mobile as he usually is because, again, he was getting older and he liked to kind of stay on the ropes and do his little shell. But, Manny Pacquiao still was able to connect. But Bud Crawford's not going to sit there and just stand there in the middle of the ring. He'll be moving around. So I think what we'll see less connections against Bud Crawford. I think Manny Pacquiao will be able to connect with Spence more because Spence likes to just stand there and try to endure, an offensive arsenal, right? But Bud Crawford will just move out of the way. He knows how to move his feet. He's also, I think, a better counterpuncher than Spence is, which would mean that Manny Pacquiao is going to have to do a lot more chasing after Crawford, which will in turn tire him out faster. And then after that, Bud Crawford will be able to take over later on in the championship rounds and just connect on the outside, stay on the outside, boom, 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 and just keep Manny Pacquiao in control. Now, would he have been able to do this in Manny Pacquiao's best days, like 5-7 years ago? Probably not. But now that Manny Pacquiao's 41, 42 years old by the time they meet, Manny Pacquiao is going to have to be very strategic and very efficient. And he'll have to pace himself now because he doesn't have the movement that he did way back when. Okay? Let's talk about Shawn Porter real quick. Shawn Porter, he's a banger. He likes to use his head movement. Stand by. He likes to use his head movement and then use his feet to be able to come in and out. Okay? Let me adjust this real quick. And he'll be able to get in close with Manny Pacquiao because he's got very explosive footwork, just like Manny Pacquiao. He likes to bang on the inside. Now, this is going to be definitely a different fight, more of a dog fight against Shawn Porter. But Shawn Porter he's a dangerous fighter. He has the power. He has the knockout power. He likes to go to the body. And I think it'll be a pretty painful match against Manny Pacquiao as well. Manny Pacquiao, I don't think he can really stay away necessarily from Shawn Porter. It's going to be a dogfight if he faces Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter will be able to cut off the ring, okay? He'll be able to cut off the ring and throw his jabs against Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is going to have to do a lot of eluding, moving to the sides, and then hitting with this thing and doing his bread and butter, which is to move his head this way. He goes like this, he moves this way, and then throws his left jab, right? Well, it looks like a left jab. It's really just, it's a straight left, right? He likes to kind of, go like this, right? And then boom, okay? He likes to do those traps. But I think what's going to happen against Shawn Porter's going to take the fight to him. But if he's not careful, Shawn Porter likes to come in He likes to come in and he leads with his head, which means that he's going to be susceptible of getting hit coming in. And there's a good chance that he might be walking into Pacquiao's his left, or he's going to be coming in and going to get hit with his Manila Ice, his right hook, and he'll be able to be countered fairly easily. And Manny Pacquiao and his camp will definitely train for this, because Shawn Porter is just going to pretty much bring him the fight. Shawn Porter does that. Shawn Porter brings the fight to all of his opponents, because that's the type of fighter that Shawn Porter is. He knows nothing but dog fighting. That's how he rolls. Is he a dangerous fighter? Yes, he's also a dangerous fighter. But I honestly think that Manny Pacquiao at this point, given the fact that he's not going to have to go and chase after Shawn Porter, I think Shawn Porter's going to bring him the fight, and he'll be able to elude and counterpunch Shawn Porter relatively easy. So I think out of the three, Shawn Porter, Spence, or Bud Crawford, I think Shawn Porter would be the easiest out of those three. Let alone a fight against Danny Garcia or even Mikey Garcia. Here's the thing. Let me tell you something about Mikey Garcia. I was very wrong with him. He fought Jesse Vargas last, okay? And I had said that Jesse Vargas was going to outbox Mikey Garcia. The first 4 rounds, I was right. He did. But I believe in the 5th round, Mikey Garcia hit him. And Jesse Vargas lost his legs for the rest of the fight. Surprisingly, Jesse Vargas lasted 12 rounds, and obviously the fight went to Mikey Garcia. But Mikey Garcia just proves that grit is a factor, a fighter's grit. And what do I mean by grit? If you haven't heard of that, it's the will to keep on moving forward. That's what Mikey Garcia brings to his matches. You got to beat Mikey Garcia's grit. Not the prettiest fighter, not the most skilled fighter, not the fastest fighter, not the most powerful fighter, not the best defense in the world. Not the prettiest fighter. There's nothing really pretty about his boxing, but he is just a workhorse that keeps on moving forward and coming at you. That's what he brings to the table. That would be the biggest concern about if he fights Pacquiao, because he's just going to keep on moving forward. He's got a granite chin. So it's not likely that Manny Pacquiao will be able to knock out Mikey Garcia. Can he? Absolutely. He could knock out Mikey Garcia. He could knock out Danny Garcia as well. Danny Garcia, another one with a granite chin. Solid skills. Again, not the prettiest fighter out there. A really nice left hook. He's a little bit more mobile, I think, than Mikey Garcia. But again, not really like, he's not one of those flashy fighters, not as much as Bud Crawford. But I think those guys, Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, same thing. Those guys are relatively static, flat-footed. That Manny Pacquiao will be able to stay away from them, get in, get some counter-punching, and last 12 rounds and win on the card. I think he's just much faster than those two fighters. So, to wrap up this video, I think a fight against any of the Garcias, Shawn Porter would be nice, and then the two most dangerous fighters for Manny Pacquiao at this point would be Spence and then Bud Crawford, the most dangerous fighter for Manny Pacquiao. That's it. What do you guys think about this? Let me know. Chime in. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Stay out of trouble. Stay home if you haven't. There's a pandemic going on. Let's flatten the curve by staying home and doing your part, and stay safe. Wash the hands. Don't touch the face. Talk to you soon.